Ever wonder if your budgeting game is as strong as you think? What if I told you that even the classic 50-30-20 rule might be leading you astray in wild financial landscape? With everything from rent hikes to unexpected tech layoffs, managing your money the old way might not cut it anymore. Stick around as we break down why this rule might be due for an upgrade and how you can make smarter adjustments that keep your savings and sanity intact. What is the 50-30-20 rule, really? The 50-30-20 rule, introduced by Senator Elizabeth Warren in her book All Your Worth, the Ultimate Lifetime Money Plan, outlines a basic framework: 50% for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for savings or debt repayment. While it's straightforward and has helped many lay a foundation, the financial realities of this year reveal some cracks in its simplicity. For instance, data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows the cost of living has risen by 8% in major U.S. cities over the past year, which complicates sticking to such rigid categories. Additionally, recent surveys from Deloitte reveal that over 60% of Americans report struggling to meet their savings targets, finding the 20% goal increasingly out of reach. This trend begs the question: is the 50-30-20 split practical anymore? The shifting landscape of 2024. Why it's different this time. If you thought inflation was a 2022 problem that had subsided, think again. The Consumer Price Index stabilized at 4.2%, still above the pre-pandemic average of around 2%. Housing remains a particularly volatile sector, with cities like San Francisco and Miami seeing rental price increases of 5 to 8% in the first half of the year. This uptrend means that the average American now spends close to 40 to 50% of their take-home pay just on housing, as reported by Zillow's August 2024 data. To put this into perspective, if you're earning $5,000 a month, allocating only $2,500 for all essential expenses, housing, groceries, insurance, transportation, feels more like a game of budgetary Tetris, where one misstep sends the whole thing toppling. Needs. When half isn't enough. In this year, defining needs is more complicated than it sounds. Traditionally, needs include basics like rent, utilities, and food. However, the rising cost of healthcare has also become a significant need expenditure, with out-of-pocket expenses averaging $1,200 annually, per Kaiser Family Foundation's latest report. When you add commuting costs, which, thanks to fluctuating gas prices averaging $4.20 per gallon, have increased monthly budgets by about 10%, it's clear why many are spending 55 to 60% of their income on necessities alone. Consider David, a software engineer living in Austin, Texas. Despite earning $120,000 annually, he reported in a recent LinkedIn post that covering his mortgage, car payment, and childcare eats up 62% of his post-tax income, leaving him little wiggle room for savings or discretionary spending. Wants versus needs. With the rise of remote work and digital conveniences, the line between wants and needs has never been blurrier. For example, broadband internet, which once was categorized as a want, is now essential for millions of remote workers. According to Pew Research Center's survey, 82% of workers consider high-speed internet a necessary expense. Streaming services, once a luxury, have become a staple of modern living, with 45% of people ranking them as needs in recent financial behavior studies. This shift adds pressure to the traditional 30% wants budget, making it a challenge to enjoy life's little luxuries without breaching the rules' boundaries. Picture Jess, a school teacher balancing her love for fitness apps and weekend movie nights on a tight budget. She realized her wants allocation crept into the 40% range when she reviewed her spending. Can we really save 20%? The 20% savings goal sounds ideal, but is elusive for many. Recent data from Bankrate shows that nearly 55% of Americans are saving less than 15% of their income, with the average savings rate hovering around 8 to 10%. The reasons: rising costs of debt repayment, especially for those carrying variable rate mortgages that adjusted upwards as interest rates hit 5.5% in mid-2024. Furthermore, student loan payments, which resumed this year after a 3-year pause, now impact over 40 million borrowers, straining savings potential. Imagine Mark, an entry-level marketing associate who resumed his $400 monthly loan payments. His ability to save dropped from 15% of his income to barely 5%. Creative budgeting hacks. When traditional rules don't fit, creativity is key. Enter the 60-20-20 or 70-15-15 adaptations, which cater to high-expense living. One increasingly popular approach: automated savings apps like Acorns and Digit, which subtly sweep spare change into savings accounts. This tactic helped over 1.5 million Americans collectively save $1 billion in found money. For instance, Maria, a single mother in Denver, used Roundup features to contribute $600 to her emergency fund this year without major sacrifices. While these numbers might seem small, they add up over time, making them a lifeline for those who can't hit the full 20% savings target. Modern alternatives. The Flex Budget. The Flex Budget approach acknowledges that life and expenses change month by month. Think of it as the anti-rigid plan. Adjust your spending categories based on actual needs. Flex budgets gained popularity as the economic uncertainties made fixed budget plans feel unrealistic. According to a Forbes Finance Council article, 70% of surveyed financial planners reported advising clients to adopt flexible spending strategies this year. For example, Sarah, a digital nomad, sets her budget to adapt to travel costs during peak seasons, allowing her to reallocate funds without stress. The result? She maintains financial health while embracing life's changes, something the traditional 50-30-20 rule doesn't account for. What are Millennials and Gen Z doing? Millennials and Gen Z are taking budgeting to new levels by focusing on financial technology. A survey from FinTech Today reveals that 72% of Gen Z uses investment apps like Robinhood and micro-savings platforms such as Stash. These tools allow them to save and invest with minimal upfront costs, bypassing traditional banking methods. The data also shows that this demographic prefers budgeting apps like You Need a Budget, which saw a 25% increase in users this year. Liam, a 24-year-old software tester, shared how using YNAB allowed him to align his savings goals with fluctuating expenses, saying, "It's like giving yourself a financial safety net without feeling restricted." Emergency funds. Why 2024 is the year to build one. The concept of an emergency fund isn't new, but its importance has skyrocketed. With major corporations from the tech sector announcing unexpected layoffs, such as Amazon's additional 5,000 job cuts in March, stability has become a rarity. A sobering report from CNBC highlighted that nearly 40% of American workers experienced at least one unexpected job disruption this year. Financial advisors now emphasize having at least 3 to 6 months of expenses set aside, despite 2024 data from Go Banking rates, indicating that 60% of Americans still have less than $1,000 saved. Starting with small, consistent contributions can create a fund that acts as a buffer against life's curveballs. Is the 50-30-20 rule outdated? While the 50-30-20 rule is a classic and provides a good starting point, it's clear that it doesn't always align with modern financial realities. In 2024, flexibility and personalization are key. Financial advisors like Suze Orman now advocate for tailoring the rule based on personal circumstances. A 60-20-20 for high-cost areas or a 50-40-10 if savings aren't yet a priority. This shift acknowledges that life doesn't always fit into a cookie-cutter budget. The goal? To make your money work for you, not the other way around. Adaptation is the ultimate financial skill, especially as we navigate a year of economic surprises, rising living costs, and evolving career landscapes. Budgeting is about adaptability and smart money management that suits your needs. Whether automating savings, trying a flexible budget, or adjusting the 50-30-20 rule, the goal is to stay secure amid life's changes. It's about progress, not perfection. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video.